Hello, everybody. It's Chris Kelly here with the Fountain Report. I am joined today by Lippincott, who I'm very glad to have with us, who is the COO and senior partner at Ackerman Group, one of the industry's leading brokers of veterinary practices. We want to start with this trend that we're seeing in practice visits, especially wellness visits being down. And this has been going on for years. And we always say it can't continue, yet it does. So share your thoughts on what's going on with visits and where we're headed.
Yeah, I think that the industry gets fixated on all of these different reasons that visits could be where they are. Obviously, there was the chaos of COVID where visits are off the charts, and then we kind of make excuses when, well, year over year, we can't possibly gain, and so that's why they're negative and so negative. And then we're worried about, well, was this all adopted pets and breeders and animals from that? Is that coming into play as a variable in some way? But I think at the end of the day, the simplest reason is probably the actual reason. And the economy in the US is just not really humming for everybody. I feel like there's a large segment of most of these practices' client bases that are looking where they could cut. And when it comes to a wellness visit, you look at your dog and you're like, Fido's doing great. Like, dog's jumping around. Like, do I really need to go in for that visit? Especially if it's not like a vaccine visit. I don't need the rabies tag right now. Maybe I can just like kick that can down the road. And I think that that's what we're seeing a whole lot these days.
What do you think about pricing and what kind of a role is it playing right now? And is that something that's solvable? Are we overblowing things in terms of pricing? Is it normal? Share your thoughts there if you would.
Yeah, so I mean, this narrative that's kind of across the whole country now around the pricing of veterinary medicine, like there's so many articles in major publications these days about how expensive it's gotten. When I think about pricing vis-a-vis visits and visit trends, I think that it's difficult to draw a direct distinction. If I'm a practice or a pet owner and I go to the vet once a year, maybe twice a year if the cat's sick, I don't remember precisely what the price is that I paid. Was it $323.60? Like, maybe that's ballpark where I think it was. And on the other side, practice owners and folks that are in the industry look at these numbers precisely. Like, oh, pricing's up 7% this year. All right, we'll put 7% on the 236 or what have you. Like, pet owner doesn't know that. They don't know what it is. They just know that it's expensive.
So, is there anything practices should be doing proactively in terms of pricing that might help, I don't know, make the situation somewhat better?
Yeah, so when I think about what I would advocate practices to do if they are concerned about this trend of visits, there are obviously a lot of things. Like, is our marketing where it should be? Do we have a website that looks like it's from 2024 or 1996? Like the easy stuff.
Yeah.
But when I think about it within this perspective of like, well, what's going on with the economy, their softness with portion of the client base, all that sort of stuff, I actually look to different businesses to see what they would do. Like if you were to listen to the most recent earnings call from McDonald's, the whole thing was spent talking about the value menu. There's a reason. They know that the bottom end of the economic spectrum is soft, and like, what can we do to create value for people? We're not talking about the meals that are like $17 these days. They're thinking about like, can we do the double cheeseburger for $1? Like this trend, like we can get visits that way. And obviously, discounting is like a really bad word in vet med, but I think that there are some opportunities to think creatively about how we ensure that the pet owners continue to come in. We don't want to discount exam fees. We don't want to say this vet's time is not worth what you think it is. But do we run some specials on vaccines? Do we run some specials on our wellness diagnostic tests? I don't know that there's a really good reason not to if you start to see a little bit of an uptick in people saying, all right, well, maybe I'll come in now.
So, do you think that transparency, not enough transparency around pricing, is a part of the issue? Could we do a better job there?
I think that there is a better job that can be done, mainly from offering pet owners choices. I think that like traditionally you go in for a visit, veterinary makes a recommendation, and pet owner really thinks like that's my only choice. and they either opt in or they opt out, and they remember that next time they come in. But maybe in soft times like this, maybe we think a little creatively. Maybe the recommendation is we really need to get the vaccines done today. It's like, we have to do that. This is what it's going to cost. We'd really like to do these wellness diagnostic tests. It would cost X. If that's a little bit too much, this is the one I would take off first. So giving a little bit of a, pick your own adventure for the pet owner to figure out like what fits with their budget while still ensuring that you're getting as much care as you possibly can for the animal at that visit. I think that that's one area that we could do. The other thing too is, I don't know that every practice is always telling pet owners on the phone when they're calling to make a visit, like, you should anticipate that this visit's probably going to cost X. Especially when it comes to wellness. CSRs are really good at understanding, all right, we got an exam fee, we've got vax, we've got diagnostics, maybe there's some parasiticides in there. Being able to give them a little bit of a range probably would also help to kind of prime that pet owner before they walk through the door. Because I think that the other thing that we're seeing too is some pushback from clients after they've left, being like, this practice is so expensive. And traditionally, that's like one of the toughest reputations to try to combat if you're a practice that's trying to improve your Google reviews or your Yelp reviews. And so providing a little bit of that transparency up front and getting the owner prepared for what they're going to see, I think actually leads to better outcomes after the fact, because they don't feel like they were caught off guard in the exam room. You got to do this right now or not. I think that that's what leads to a little bit of turmoil and can lead to bad reputation. So that angle of transparency, I think everybody could be doing a better job of. And it doesn't actually have to be when visits are soft. That's an all the time sort of thing that just improves client experience.
That was some great information. Really glad that you took the time and spent it with us and our listeners and our Fountain Report readers. We'll do more of this.
Sounds
we'd love
good.
to have you back on.
Absolutely.
So thank you for your time, your insights, and look forward to the next.
Anytime.